Hey everybody, welcome to another one of Chris's beer reviews. So I just came back from LCBO and they have an assorted section. Now I don't usually take too much advantage of this section. Say they break a bottle in a six pack, say you got a can that's a little bit more dented than usual. Throw it in this assorted section, you get like a discount price for buying a single instead of a full pack. So I picked up a couple that I would not normally buy a full six pack of, being as a they're also beers that I could tell I'm not going to be into them. So, which leads me to this product right here. This is the Michelob Ultra. Now, the reason why this is on the shelves, people, is because it's a light beer. Okay, you got 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories. When your average beer has, I'm not sure about carbs, but I know for sure that has usually on average 150 calories. So this is taken away. Probably I'd roughly say 35% worth of the calories. It's a 4% ABV, so it's definitely a light beer. We got a 341 milliliter bottle here, and it's got a frilly top, or it's not a full top, but yeah, it's definitely it's a frilly top. So yeah, with beers like this, okay, with your average generic domestic lagers, I actually prefer them to be drank from a bottle. When you pour them into a glass, you see that they're not really full of anything that's truly enjoyable to the average person. So rather than what happens when you pour it into a glass is it brings out the flavors. So if you don't have very many flavors in your beer, then you're essentially bringing out more of the bad in the drink, so to speak. This is a personal opinion that I have. I haven't spoken with anybody else about this, but this is what I found. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drinking it from a pint glass, Samuel Smith's pint glass, and I'm going to be drinking it from a bottle, and I'm going to let you know how they taste compared to one another, comparative to one another, and I'm also going to let you know if it is a cool light beer to try, because light beers are also usually on the cheaper side as well. Trying to save some belly and trying to save the pocket. I open it with the beer cap, or sorry, with a lighter, because I like to save the caps. People who watch my videos, you already know this. So yeah, rather than playing with this frilly stuff here, throw it in my little... That didn't work. Alright, so let's give it a shot. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sip it from the bottle first. Sorry, I don't want to get any of that frilly stuff in my beer, so I'm just kind of patting it down. Alright, here goes. Alright, so already right off the flop, it tastes like, your typical, like, Laker, cheap type of domestic beer. Hey, you know what? If you're taking away that much of the calories, I'll tell you what, I don't really notice. That says a lot. I mean, I'm not a Coors Light fan. I thought it was just because it was light, but it turns out just the way that they brew that beer, I'm not particularly a big fan of it. And yeah, so far, straight out of the bottle, if you can drink light beers, you'll like this one. There's nothing really wrong with this. It'll probably taste better than your average light beer. Corona Light, Bud Light, your average light. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pouring it into the glass. Let's see how it goes from here. As you can tell from the color, this is an incredibly light beer. I mean, you're almost close to water when you're looking at this. It looks like carbonated water with yellow food coloring. That's what this kind of looks like. Looks kind of like a ginger ale. Very clear drink. Very white bubbles. Alright, and just as I suspected, I prefer it out of the bottle. This one actually had a little bit of a crispy, almost a dry taste to it when I compared the two. when I pour it into a glass, it almost tastes kind of like it's coming out of a can. You know, like that gritty, kind of almost metallic kind of taste that you get with it. I'm not sure why it's coming out of this, but it's even there in the smell now. So yeah, when I give this a rating, which I'll be doing any second now, I'm going to say straight up that this is going to be rated on the fact that it's a light beer and compared to the others. So what I will say about this, I don't know if I will ever give a light beer more than a 7, but so I'll say that this is a pretty good 7 out of 10 for a light beer. If I was going to compare it to a regular beer, I would give it a 2. So that kind of gives you an explanation as to how I view it as a beer and how I view it as a light beer. There you go. That being said, a 2 out of 10 is pretty good when I'm talking to you about other light beers that I probably give a less of a rating. So there you go. That's also probably my first yawn on a beer review. All right, people, thanks for joining me on another one of Chris's beer reviews. Hopefully you learned something out of this. This is from the... What brewery is this from? Just because you're going to want to know. Oh, it's called... It's the Labatt Brewing Company, so there you go. Which is probably out of Toronto, Ontario. Oh, London... Oh, never mind. That's just all the places that you can return it to. So yeah, if you really want to know where the Labatt Brewery is located, I'm sure there's more than one. You can also Google that. All right, people. Thanks again. Don't drink and drive. Just drink responsibly. Cheers.